Hello, welcome once again to another edition of Empowered Ways. My name is Ezekiel. Empowered Ways is a self and business development program aimed at empowering especially the youth with information sufficient enough to help them discover their potential, put them to use, and become who they were created to be. That is why I need to ask you whether you work with youth or you work in any capacity with a youth organization, as a youth president, as a pastor, as a community leader, as an NGO, and you think you need someone to speak to you to motivate them, to empower them, to encourage them, to help them discover their potentials. That is the only way many youth of these days will be able to translate their potentials, translate their energies, translate their abilities into useful venture, into impacting their life, into making positive influence in the society. And of course, if we don't do it now, in the nearest future, we will have adults, we will have people who are old who depends on others to survive, instead of them making investment in their life in such a way that at their old age they need not bother anymore. So this is the time to help them discover their potential. This is the time to help them begin to sow the seed that will yield greater profit in the future. So if you work with them, this is one of the best gifts you can give to them. Help them discover their potential. I'll be so glad to do this, and I am happy and always happy to do that. Thank you very much. At the end of the video, I'm going to drop my contact. You should be able to reach to me. Now today we are going to be talking about changing your thinking. Changing your thinking. Now, you see, the process of life had made so many people to go through life without making impact. Now, what I mean by the process of life, I'm talking about environmental factors, I'm talking about upbringing, I'm talking about association. When you live in an environment where there are more negative influences, you see that your life tends to always be negative. Very few people can actually be able to come out of the barriers of negative influences and become somebody and become positive in life. So now, but the issue is this: how does these negative influences around us happen? How do they affect us? You see, a man said, sow a thought, you reap a habit. Sow a habit, you reap character. And of course, character brings the result to our life. What we do regularly, what we do often, this is what brings the result we have in life. And someone also said, he said that what you hear and what you see, they are the things that forms your thinking pattern. They influences your thinking pattern. And your thinking pattern influences your actions or your habits. And your habit influences your character. And then your character produces the result you have. Now, if we must be able to change our thinking pattern, if we must be able to change what we are thinking, if we must be able to change what we have as a result of our lives, first of all, we need to watch what we see and what we hear, what we listen to and what we watch. These are the very foundational issues about the process of life. That is why the Bible, King Solomon, the wisest man in the days of the old, said that you have to be careful what you let into your heart. He said, for the thought of your heart, the things that are in your heart, they are from where the issues of life emanate. So we are talking about changing our thinking. And for us to be able to change what we think, which I have said, results into our attitudes and actions, and then which our actions and attitudes result into our characters, and our characters result into our results. Our characters now produce our results. So if we must change our thinking, we must go to the foundation. You see, in Africa, several governments will come and say they want to solve the issue of African underdevelopment and all of this stuff. They give you good grammars and all of this, but they are not ready to look at the foundational cause of this. Until you cut a tree from the root, the tree will still continue to grow. So if you must cut your bad habit, if you must deal with the result in your life that you don't like, you have to begin to look at the foundational issues. And I have laid that foundational issues before you. Watch what you think. Watch what you hear. Let me tell you a story here. There's this Chinese story about a young lady who got married and then had no choice but to stay with the mother-in-law. And then this young lady and the mother-in-law could not find their bearings. They are always antagonizing. They are always at each other's throat. They are always quarreling. The mother-in-law would want the lady to do all that she wanted, and then the young lady wouldn't want to do all that the mother-in-law. She was not obedient to the mother-in-law, and then it got to a point one day she decided to just take the results, as in take the mother-in-law out of the picture. Now the husband had been so frustrating with this issue. He does not know how to handle this issue. So the lady said, well, I'm going to settle this once and for all, and went to a herbalist, took some herbs and wanted to poison the mother-in-law. And then the herbalist said, if you poison her straight ahead, there will be suspicion, because people know that you have always been antagonistic with her. You've always been quarreling with her. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you a poison that will gradually build up in her body, and then at the end of it, she dies without suspicion. Now, but again, even with that, there's still going to be suspicion. So what you are going to do is this. You are going to be very nice to her throughout this period of poisoning. You are going to do whatever she asks you to do. You are going to be so obedient to her. In fact, you are going to force yourself to be smiling with her, even when you had no need to smile. You are also going to pretend to love her like your own mother. Now, as you do this, each time you serve her food, add a little of the poison in the food. And then the poison will build up gradually. And she was so happy. She said, wow, I found a way of dealing with this issue without anybody knowing it was me. Now, it happened that she kept doing this, adding poison, and kept loving the woman, kept obeying the woman, kept smiling, kept doing whatever the mother-in-law demands of her. And then, lo and behold, in a short while, the mother-in-law noticed that the daughter-in-law had changed. And so the mother-in-law now started loving this daughter-in-law like her own daughter. They were happy, they were smiling. And it happened, it got to a point where the young lady, the daughter-in-law now felt, this woman has changed though. This woman had become a loving mother. This woman had become a peaceful woman. This woman that is so antagonistic and so quarreling, so demanding, she suddenly had changed. And so she went back to the herbalist and said, please, I want to detoxicate my mother-in-law. I don't want her to die anymore. I don't want to kill her again. The woman had changed. And then the herbalist called her and said, my daughter, I didn't give you any poison. I only gave you some nutritional herbs to help that woman build up her immune system. Now, what really happened is that the poison in all of this thing was in your heart. But the moment you changed and realized that you do not need to poison this woman again, that was when the woman started changing. So what I'm trying to say with this story is this, that the moment you change, everything around you will begin to change. And the first point of changing is in your thinking. A man said to change anything, you have to first change the way you think. If you don't change the way you think, you will not be able to change many things around you. Even the people you want to change, you can only change them when you yourself, you change. So, Jim Rohn said, to change the world, you have to start from yourself. Without changing yourself, you will not be able to change the world. And remember, for you to change yourself, you have to change the way you think. That means for you to be able to change the way you think, you have to change the things you watch, you listen to, and the things you hear. Your friends, the books you read, the movies you watch, the places you go, you have to begin to count them, put them into consideration, and ask yourself, what influences have these things had on me? That's the beginning point to change. Now, but again, remember that these things form your thinking pattern, and then your thinking pattern forms your belief system. So the next thing you need to do is to begin to change your belief system. What are the things you believe? What are the stories that you've been told? What are the lies that you've been sold? And then you bought them. You have to begin to change them. Change what you believe. So many of your belief systems, if you can begin to enumerate them, you will discover that so many of the things you believe are actually outright lies. These things are not truth. Especially those ones that have been told from the village. I'm not saying that the villages don't have customs and traditions that are truthful and that are reflective of life. But I am saying that you have to begin to watch the things you believe, especially from the village. You have to begin to watch those things. So change what you think. Say your thinking influences your action. I've said so. And your action influences your character. And your character influences your result. Change from the beginning. Change what you believe. Look into your heart. Ask yourself, what are those things that I believe that are hindering me? What are those things that I believe that are stopping me? What are those things that I believe that are making me not to get the kind of result I want? You will have to look into yourself and ask yourself this question and be truthful to yourself. And stop those beliefs right now. To change the way you think, to change the way we are thinking, first we have to change what we listen to and what we watch. The next thing, we have to change our friends. The kind of friends we associate with. So our social influences also have so much impact with us. What about your religion? If you think maybe the religion may not be the issue, but the particular place where you worship or where you attend your religious duties might be the issue, you may need to begin to look into it. Have you constantly been inundated with negative and defeatist messages? You have to also watch that. That the pastor is over you does not mean that you must live your life by whatever the pastor says. You have your choice. I'm not telling you to go and begin to disobey your pastor, but if you discover that the messages your pastor is passing across to you is not helping you get the results in life you want, man, you are not stuck there. Even if you are born in that particular branch of church or mosque or whatever, you can also decide to move to another one. It is your life. That the pastor is telling you it is God that is telling me to tell you does not mean that it is God. It might be God, but it's not all what the pastor said that God must be the one that asked him to say it. He's a human being. He also has his own understanding about lives and feelings. So watch this. What about your association? What about your clubs, your community clubs and all of these things? Please, if they are not helping you get the kind of result you want in life, it is your duty to decide to say, I don't want to be part of this gathering anymore. Because they are not helping you grow. Because they are not helping you move forward. They are not. So you have to do this. You have to take responsibility for your life. And whatever is influencing you in the negative, decide to do away with it. Decide to do away with it. Decide to do away with it. It is your duty. It is in your power. It is in your influence. It is in your ability. You can change the way you think by changing the things you listen to, the things you watch, the people you associate with, the particular religious group that is showing negative informations and limiting informations to you. You can change even your influence in the rural environment where it's always negative and it's not impacting you. It is in your hand. Your life and your future. A lot of people say it's in the hands of God. I agree, but I say this, that the day you discover your purpose in life, God has handed over your life and your destiny into your hand. It is now left for you to decide. So decide today to change your thinking by checking the things that influences your thinking. Now again, the next thing you need to do is this. You now begin to have to suppress. You cannot erase. You cannot remove negative thinking from your mind completely. What you need to do is to suppress it with possibility thinking. Some people call it positive thinking. You have to suppress the negative thinking with possibility thinking. When you do this, each time the subconscious mind is about to bring to the fore your negative thinking, your negative beliefs, your limiting beliefs, you see that the one you have used, the possibility thinking you have used to suppress it, will always come forward. And when negative thought comes, you see the positive aspect of your subconscious will come and say, don't mind it, don't believe that, don't listen to that. You have decided to do away with this. So now you have to focus on the positive. And when you continually suppress the negative thinking with positive thinking, through reading of books, through listening to positive messages, through reassociating yourself with people who are positive in life, through finding some positive mentors who are going to help and guide you through life, then you begin to see that result that you expect will begin to come. It is not going to start coming immediately, but you have to be patient, because of course patience is one of the possibility thinking. You have to be patient and wait and go through it. It may take a longer time, but it is not going to take as long as the negative feelings and beliefs and thinking system had been there with you. Very soon you begin to get the kind of result you want. This is how you can begin to change your life, by changing the way you think. Thank you for the time, and I want to use the opportunity to invite you to join us every Sunday at Lugbe International Academy in Abuja, in Lugbe Federal Housing. Meet to discuss, to empower, to encourage ourselves, and to share more of this thinking pattern, of this possibility thinking pattern, to help us become better people, better citizens. Join us every Sunday by 4 p.m. You can reach me on telephone if indeed you want me to speak to your youth by calling my contact 002 3755 992. It is also displayed on the screen, so you can actually copy it down, and then you can follow us to watch more videos, to get more empowered, to get more encouraged, by following our Facebook page, facebook.com/empoweredwaysng. Empowered Ways NG. God bless you as you change the way you think, by changing the things you watch and the things you listen to, and then you begin to influence your attitude, you begin to influence your character, and then your character begins to bring the kind of results you want in your life. God bless you, and thank you for joining us every Sunday by 4 p.m.